Hello, this is Dr. Cunningham. I decided to pop up on TikTok today so that I could share some recent research regarding the holiday season and, what is prevalent as far as mental health or symptoms that we should be mindful of. And then just a few tips how to manage one's symptoms during the holiday season. So let's see how much information we can share within the next 10 minutes. So please take notes. What I'm ultimately going to suggest to start off is that it's important for you to have a therapist. If you don't already meet with a therapist, then it's okay to utilize this time to meet with a therapist because there are a lot of nodal events and or memories that are associated with holidays. And so whether it is loved ones that have passed on or those who are no longer in your life because they moved or relocated or breakups, divorces, so forth and so on. This is a time of year where people really do express a lot of symptoms. Not everyone, but there's a decent number. So those who are doing well during the holidays continue to thrive. Those who may be dealing with some mental health symptoms, then let's discuss. So there was a recent survey that was actually conducted by the American Psychological Association in 2023, where we found about 89% of U.S. adults feel stressed during the holidays, and 41% reported higher stress levels than other times of the year. And it's also important to note that regarding depression, about 64% of people said that their condition worsened during the holidays, and especially those with seasonal affective disorder, a type of clinical depression is also common during the winter months. Now, as far as anxiety, the holidays can be a source of angst for many people, and with consideration of caregivers, those who are caring for loved ones with a mental illness can be especially difficult for you all during the holidays. Now, again, this is contingent upon if this is you. If it's not, maintain the hope, continue on. But there's still hope for those, even if you have the symptoms and or are caring for someone with the symptoms. Sleep disruption can occur, especially during traveling. Time difference changes. Believe me, I experienced those. Literally, after I returned from East Coast to the West Coast and there's a 3-hour difference, I usually spend the following day sleeping in a little extra just to make sure that I catch up on rest, okay, with consideration of the difference of time. And then also, sometimes people during this particular time of year, the end of the year, consider regrets. But many people will regret not taking time to relax and enjoying themselves during the holidays. So it's important, especially those who are the hostess with the mostest, that it's important to still have time for yourself, okay? So some of the sources of stress during the holidays, again, this is all survey information from APA, American Psychological Association. There's financial pressure, which is a stressor. Gift giving is a stressor. Family gatherings. Balancing work, family, and finances. Fitting into festive events. Increased expectations and pressure to participate in social events. So let's make sure that we first highlight this, because if there's an increase with consideration of angst, with regret, with depression, I want to say to people, if you happen to have any thoughts about not being here, wishing that you could just sleep or just, walk off the face of the earth, it's okay to speak to a therapist and or call the National Suicide Hotline 988, where you're able to speak to someone, okay? Now, if you are dealing with domestic violence, this is a time of year, any time of year actually, where it's okay for you to establish boundaries. Utilize your courage to say enough is enough, because you should not deal with violence. Therefore, you are able to go to your local police and make a report, especially if something has already happened. Otherwise, there also are local agencies within your regions, within the state of Connecticut. We have the Center for Family Justice, who has advocates that you can always call and speak to them and gather services so that you have access to a community that will provide you support. Then there also is an opportunity to establish safety plans, to determine walking away, to determine safe ways of not only managing your own safety, making sure that you are physically safe, but then also to establish legal support. So to determine things like if you own homes, if you have other particular assets, so you're able to maintain your assets while also making sure that you are physically safe. Now, for those who aren't dealing with those situations currently, however, are possibly dealing with the memories or recall these particular situations that have occurred in the past, and that can be a part of trauma. And so again, during the holiday season, it's okay to continue to meet with your therapist weekly, even if you decide that you would like to meet twice a week with your therapist in order to discuss these particulars. What I would recommend, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, I have a PhD, but I'm also trained to utilize accelerated resolution therapy, which is a rapid eye movement treatment, which essentially is like a bilateral eye movement that helps to erase and replace memories and also disconnect particular negative emotions associated with particular memories. And you're also able to kind of recreate the memories in a way so when you remember them, they are not associated with triggering negative emotions. So something like ART, accelerated resolution therapy, or EMDR, or neurofeedback, there are particular forms of treatment that you're able to go through that are short-term treatments. So that means during the holiday, maybe a week or two prior to the holiday, you can go through ART sessions, and literally I've worked with clients where after the first session, they were able to significantly reduce trauma symptoms. Okay, and significantly meaning from crying, almost anxiety attacks, to all of a sudden they're just at peace. Now, what I also would say is that if you are still in the around people, places, or things that are associated with a particular traumatic event, it could potentially re-traumatize. So it's important that you are within a safe environment. Please note that. Please note that. But then also with consideration of relationships, because I'm a relationship therapist, here's a few recommendations. Make sure that you're aware of the amount of time that you're willing to spend with your loved ones. If you know after 15 minutes, 30 minutes, that that's your threshold to maintain an emotional balance, then time yourself 30 minutes and then continue on. Now, this is also something that's relevant for people if you happen to have an introverted personality, because introverts tend to feel depleted as far as their energy when they're engaging in social activities. So it's okay to pause and say, look, I can handle a bandwidth of about an hour, 2 hours, and after that, I'm ready to go home. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But then also make sure that you have people around you that are very aware of where you are mentally and emotionally, and that can provide support. Okay? Now, what I'll also say is, there's nothing wrong with being honest about where you are financially. Meaning, it's not everyone's business what's happening financially. But if you know that Secret Santa or the Yankee swap is a better decision, who are you trying to impress? Who's trying to keep up with the Joneses anyway? The Joneses not even trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses get mad every Christmas and deal with their own stress because they wish they weren't the Joneses. So what? Just make sure that it's a nice environment where people are at peace, able to enjoy themselves. And then after the holiday, where you know you still have finances, where you're able to still make sure you pay your bills. Priorities, people, priorities. So ultimately, at the end of the day, my hope is that you will have a peaceful, stress-free holiday. It's okay to talk to a therapist. It's okay to get extra rest. Meditate. Exercise. Magnesium is helpful. Also, an increase in protein actually helps to regulate your nervous system. These are just small little tips. But ultimately, I hope that you all continue to attain, refine, and thrive. Have an excellent holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. Have an excellent day.